Yep, you're the leader. Yep.
Okay, cool. So
Awesome.
we are officially being recorded.
Yep.
So thanks everybody for hopping on the Corn Salsa with Casey event for AVA Wheaton. So we're gonna learn how to make some corn salsa. So here we've got sweet corn. I like to get the frozen stuff. Another thing that you can do too, like I grew up in the Midwest where you can get like 10 ears of corn for $1. So what I would do in the summertime, back when I lived in Ohio, is I would just get a bunch of corn, cook it, and then throw it in freezer safe bags and freeze a bunch of it so that I just have a bunch of frozen corn whenever I want to make salsa. So we're gonna go ahead and get that added to our bowl here. When I'm making the salsa, I like to get an oversized bowl so I can mix it without making a total mess. So that's why this bowl is a little bit on the larger side. So next thing we're gonna do is and I've already washed all the vegetables, so remember to wash your fruits and veggies. I just didn't think you guys would wanna watch me do it, so I did it in advance. So now we're gonna get started on cutting everything up and putting it in. I usually like to start with the poblano first. No reason in particular, just because I used to work at Chipotle and that's what we always started with because it came pre-mixed. Now you will see I am gonna put on a glove for this. You don't have to put on a glove when you're cutting peppers, but I wear contact lenses. I don't know if you've ever touched your eye after cutting peppers, but it's not a pleasant experience. And don't worry, I'm not taking PPE away from nurses. My wife is a nurse, so we always have just had a surplus of plastic gloves in our apartment. So this is just an old supply.
Thanks for the disclaimer.
Respect your nurses and other, obviously, people on the front lines. So we're gonna take out all the little peppers, or all the little seeds, so we don't have that. And then we're gonna get started on cutting it up.
So Casey, I know you're like a connoisseur when it comes to like kitchen items. Is that a specific knife that you have that you
Big one.
A big one.
I'm not that much of a connoisseur, so this is just my biggest knife because we're cutting a red onion and we're cutting a big pepper. My other go-to knife would be this one, which I think is just a chef's knife. I'm not really sure. I have really fancy knives, but I don't know what any of them are called. So we're just gonna use the big one because this is the one I sharpened today, and it's a good size for what we're chopping on. So as far as size, I made them relatively thin, and then we're gonna dice this a little bit more. And I'll make sure to kind of bring that a little bit closer to the camera so you guys can really see the cut size. I like this knife too for chopping because since it has a curve to it, it's really good for like rocking back and forth so you can get through stuff pretty quickly. So there's a sample of about how big it is. Can you guys see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not too big. It's a little bit bigger than you would like dice a jalapeno. All right, so we're just gonna toss that in with the corn. And then we're gonna chop the other half of it.
So Casey, you're doing the whole pepper, right? You're putting the whole pepper in?
Yep, the whole pepper.
Poblano? Okay.
Yeah, poblanos aren't quite as spicy as jalapenos, so it's safe to add the full pepper. And the bag of corn that I have is a 12-ounce one. If you're doing like a 24-ounce or like even like a 32-ounce, then you might want to do like 2 full peppers. Consider doubling the recipe. All right, so just to kind of give you an idea of how much we want, I'm just going to go ahead and mix it up. And this way you can just kind of see the ratio. So we've got a good amount, but it's not too crazy.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing insane. And if you like it spicier, you can always add more. The recipe that I gave everybody was more for like a mild to medium, just because I don't know what people's spice level is. Don't want to give anyone a stomachache. And I'm even going to do the top of it too, just because I like to. I don't know if you're supposed to or if that's like, you know, taboo, but I'm going to do it. So I'll mix it up and show you guys again. So, got a good amount. All right, so since I've already got the glove on, I'm just gonna go ahead and do the jalapeno now too. So cutting off the top, down the middle, and then we're gonna take out the seeds.
Are you gonna make this with me after we give Daddy the shopping list?
I don't
You
want to
like
make salsa though.
You like corn? It's like a corn salad.
All right, so that is de-seeded. Now we're gonna chop everything up. Now these you are gonna wanna make nice and fine, just because nobody wants to get a giant chunk of jalapeno on a chip. That would be a little bit too much, so the smaller the better. And I'll bring it closer to the camera too in just a sec so you guys can see.
I want to see range of it.
Corn, poblano pepper, and jalapeno pepper.
So definitely a lot thinner than we did the last pepper. And now we're just gonna chop it up a little more.
Casey, you were saying earlier that we can, instead of corn, sometimes you can do something different other than corn with the same.
Yeah, so one of the things that I really like about this recipe is that you can substitute for the corn something different. So like, for example, any like fruit will work. So like when I am doing a white fish, like a cod or a tilapia, what I'll do is I'll substitute and I'll use pineapple instead of corn. So it's just pineapple, peppers, onion, cilantro, lime, and salt. And it's amazing as like a little topping for your fish. You can even like grill it with it on top. It really, the sweetness and the spice really gives it a nice flavor. I've done this recipe with mango instead of corn. I've done it with pineapple, plums, peaches, nectarines, like literally any fruit. Now, when I do substitute for the corn, I don't really go for what's it called, frozen fruit. I always just use fresh stuff. I haven't tried it yet. I mean, I have some frozen peaches in my freezer, so we can give it a shot. Y'all won't be able to taste it, but I guess I can let you know how it goes if you guys want. It's super versatile, and you can even make pico by using tomatoes, like literally anything. That's the great thing about salsa is you can just kind of do whatever you want, and it's a pretty easy thing to make. And it makes you seem super fancy when you're like, oh yeah, I made this salsa. Look at me knowing how to do stuff and things. All right, so we're just chopping up this last jalapeno some more. Because again, I like it spicy. Next, we're gonna do the onion, and then we'll do the cilantro. All right. And let me know if I'm going too fast or if anybody has any questions.
You seem like a professional, Casey.
Thank
You know what you're doing. You're keeping us entertained.
He's the grill master at AVA Wheaton.
Lisa, you missed the infused alcohol too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have to go over
Yeah,
that again.
earlier.
Oh.
Instead, I don't really eat bread, so instead of being one of those people that makes bread during quarantine, I'm someone that infuses alcohol with fruits and veggies.
Yum.
So like this is one that I've got going right now. So it's habanero peppers with some tequila.
Ooh,
Yum.
yum.
Throw that in a margarita, nice, sweet, and spicy. So, and I've already got some that are pre-made, which I'll show you guys in a sec. All right, so now we are on to our red onion. As you can see, this thing is a behemoth. It's like practically the size of my head. Granted, I'm a small guy, but that's still really big for an onion. So we're not gonna use this whole thing. We're probably gonna use about half. Yeah. Go ahead and peel it. Oh, and just to show you guys what our salsa looks like so far. Oops, let me get the angle right. So good amount of pepper in there. Yours might have a little bit less because again, I used 2 jalapenos instead of 1. All right, so now we're gonna chop up this onion.
Is that a red onion, Casey?
Red onion, yes.
Okay.
never understood why they're called red onions because they're definitely purple, but whatever. All right, now I have been told by some that I cut onions weird, but I'm not in a cutting contest against Gordon Ramsay, so y'all are gonna watch me cut this onion weird, and if you like it, great. If you don't, you can cut it your way. All right. So the way I do it is I start by slicing, and then I turn everything sideways like this once I've gotten through about half of it. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it and kind of cut it like this to get even. Oops, I'll do it closer. Cut it kind of like this to get even little slivers. So.
Hi, Emma.
Welcome to the party, Emma.
Thanks.
All right, so we've got our onion diced. It's getting a little messy at the end, but that's okay because again, this is not a real cooking show. This is me in my kitchen, so it's not the end of the world.
Listen, this can turn into a forever thing, Casey. You never know.
So we got
It might be one of those things we keep.
All right, so it's nice and diced. We're just gonna throw it on in there. Now I'm gonna get to that other half. And I thoroughly enjoy cooking, so if anyone really enjoys this event and has any requests, I am all about sharing recipes. I know how to make a mean guacamole. Tomorrow will tell you that I am grill master of AVA Wheaton, which I tend to agree with, but I'll let other people say it. Marinades, barbecue. One time I made a giant meat tower. It was delicious. So I'm all for sharing recipes and stuff. And if there's any other requests anyone has, I can learn how to make it and still do it. Welcome to the party, Adam.
Hey, Casey. Hey, everybody.
Hey, Autumn.
Hi, Autumn.
Hi.
Young man, we do not bark. Thank you. All right, so for those of you who are just hopping on, we're making corn salsa today. So the first ingredient was our frozen corn. Then we added 1 poblano pepper. I would show it to you, but I already chopped it up. And then 2 jalapenos. Most of the time, the recipe calls for 1, but I use 2 because I like it spicy. And now we just added half of a red onion. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix this all up. My dogs are really excited. They must think someone's at the door. Start. We do not bark. All right, so we've got our salsa. So that's what it should be looking like. How we doing?
How's it look?
Good.
It looks pretty good. My
All right,
peanut
awesome.
gallery says it looks good, Casey, and he's pretty critical.
Perfect.
My peanut gallery says it looks good.
I appreciate that. I know children are our biggest critics, so. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and chop up the cilantro. So the trick to cutting cilantro so you don't have to cut it a million times, and I'm gonna turn so you can kind of see, is every time I chop it, I'm barely moving the knife. Because it's such a big bundle and we want it to be so fine, I'm barely moving it.
Casey, are we putting the stems in there too?
Nope, not the stems. So I've got a handful of stems here. Good question. If you do get some stems in there, it's fine. My salsas probably have a good amount of stems in them consistently. I apologize for not clarifying that before I started chopping. So now that I've chopped through everything once, I'm just gonna kind of rotate it and we're gonna do the same thing again. Again, we're almost chopping in the same spot every single time just to get it really nicely chopped. I'm gonna go back. So now we've got some pretty fine chopped cilantro there. And I'm gonna use the whole bundle because I really like cilantro.
I love cilantro too.
I apologize if anyone on here has that genetic thing where cilantro tastes like soap. I'm really sorry because it's delicious.
I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah, some people cilantro, it's like a genetic thing where like they can't taste cilantro right. It's crazy. That's why people either love it or they hate it. Because let's face it, cilantro is delicious. All right, so now adding it and just kind of mixing everything up here. So looks a lot better now, doesn't it?
Looks good.
It looks delish.
Lisa,
Right.
you're next.
So next up, we are gonna add the lime and then salt to taste. I'm gonna go ahead and take off this glove just because I'm not touching anything spicy at this point. My contacts have been saved. All right, I like to do the salt first and then do the lime on top of it. So as far as how much I'm gonna add, it's just like a pinch, probably 2, because we have a good amount here. So, and just do it to taste. So try 1 pinch. If it's not enough, try again. Next, we're gonna go to the lime. So the trick with your lime is you wanna roll it first so you can get plenty of juice. So you're gonna put it on your cutting board, you're gonna put your palm on it, and you're really just gonna like put a lot of pressure and roll it till it's nice and squishy. Once it's nice and squishy, this means that it's gonna be super easy for you to get that lime juice out. If you don't roll it, you will notice the difference. So, I mean, I don't know if you can see, but like, see how much I'm able to squeeze that? Yeah, it's a real soft lime now. So now I'm just gonna quarter it. I'll try and do this close to the camera so you can see. So see all that juice that I'm getting? And that's just from a quarter of a lime. So it makes a huge difference. So I'm gonna use a whole half lime for this. I'll save the other half for my infused beverage later. All right, so we've got plenty of lime juice there. I like it real limey. Now I'm gonna rinse my hand real quick. All right. And now we're gonna stir everything together.
Sorry. Really?
Okay, so that is what we've got. So now comes the most important part. We have to taste test it.
Oh, you get to taste it.
So these are chips that I homemade. So I used to work at Chipotle, and it's really easy to make homemade
So
chips.
you made chips?
I did. I make homemade
Lisa's
chips.
facial expression was
Wait,
on point.
what?
So
Yeah.
they're super easy to make. All you need is corn tortillas. This is the brand that they sell next door. There's like $1 for a pack that's like this thick. So what you do is you just chop them up. I do half and then I cut them into thirds. And then if you have a fryer, that is the caveat is you do need a fryer. So you just throw them in the fryer for about 30 seconds to a minute. Once they're nice and brown and crispy, take them out, throw them in a bowl. You're gonna do salt. So you wanna salt it in a circle to try and get everything. Then you're gonna take a lime it in a circle. And then you're gonna do one of these. Let me show you, I can get a bowl real quick. All right, so you've got your chips that just came out, and then you're just gonna toss them by doing one of those, a couple of those, salt and lime again. So you do that 2 times per batch. Batch is however much you can fit in a fryer, and that's literally all it takes to make Chipotle chips. And they're delicious. So now we'll try my salsa here.
Hear that crunch. How is it?
Welcome to AVA SMR. So mine's pretty good. I don't think I need to add anything else. How are we doing, Jima? How we do? Do we pass the taste test?
Let's see. Good.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Awesome.
It's tasty.
That's
Really good.
impressive.
Yeah, that's good.
Did you see it? Are you ready to make it? Are you ready to make it?
Can I see it?
You need to watch me eat another one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys insist. So we got a big old scoop there.
Can you put the scoop a little closer before you pop one in?
Just keep eating, Casey.
If you say so.
It's tasty. I like it.
Look at it. It looks so good. It really does look like Chipotle.
Good.
Yes, it does.
Nice.
That looks
We'll just-
good.
Brush
And you
the
know,
salsa
it's
off
so
my laptop.
easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy. I can remember the recipe. You don't have to send it to me. I got it.
Awesome, Casey.
That's awesome. Thanks, Casey.
Thanks everybody for joining. Hope you guys enjoy it.
We did.
If you guys want me to do something like this again, I know like a million recipes. So, and like I said, don't be afraid to mix things up. Use peaches, pineapple, whatever your favorite fruit is. Give it a shot. It might make a delicious salsa.
What are we cooking next month?
Send me requests. I'll make whatever.
This is great. This is
All
great.
right.
Fun. Thank you.
Thanks for joining, guys.
Bye.
Everybody have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Casey. It looks amazing.
Thanks.